Hi guys, welcome back
to the channel.
It's Jenna
And Chad.
and Daisy.
Our little
This is
crooked
our
dog
Australian Shepherd Poodle mix.
doggy.
And she's crazy. So if you hear squeaking and lots of noise, it's her being crazy. So, but we'll get right into it. This is our report back for our Mexico mission trip.
One, thank you to everybody who supported us financially and just with your prayers. It meant a lot more than you can even imagine.
Yeah.
It was the best mission trip that either of us have done.
Yes, thank you so much for supporting us financially and obeying that call, because we all play a part. So, but yeah, by far, like, the Lord has allowed me and has blessed me to be on a handful of mission trips, and this has by far been my favorite. One, I have a heart for Latin American culture, and just love like Spanish speaking countries and like the culture of it all. So I just knew that I would love it in general. But just the aspect of, we knew going into this that we would be building a home for a family in need. So the organization that we worked with was called YUGO, so YUGO. And yeah, we went for a week and stayed, and our goal was to build a home for a family in 4 days. And this family had been in an insane picking process of, the ministry and the local church expecting them to find a local church and begin to be present in the church, and that really hurt. And begin attending a church, to be able to receive that home. And one cool thing about YUGO is that they allow each church 3 homes for a family. One within inside the church body that is in need of a home, and then 2 that are outside of the church body. So that gives way for evangelism to take place, and sets the tone for us, because that is exactly the family that we received and were able to work with. Was a family that didn't go to church, that were not connected, and before we had gotten there, all we knew was that they didn't know God and that they hadn't received Jesus as their Lord and Savior. So going into it, we knew, like, Lord, you're going to have to prepare the groundwork for us and get our hearts ready to be able to point them to you in the way that they need. But also, what's cool is that the local pastor is so what's the word? A part of it. Mm-hmm. Like, he came to the work site.
Yeah, he came to the work site, and they preach at the base of where we operate out of.
Yeah, but the local pastor that they were connected with, I mean, he was so in tune with everything that was going on with him. He knew, and he was a part, and so that was really cool. But you want to tell them about when we got there?
So we got there on Sunday,
Take a minute.
June 26th, and we flew out of Atlanta, landed in San Diego. Someone from a partnering company with you, not someone directly related to them, but they picked us up at the San Diego airport, drove us through the border, and drove us to Ensenada, about a 2-hour drive, and brought us to YUGO, where we got to meet the family for the first time before we even got to the work site, before we even started working on their
Got to have dinner with them.
Got to have dinner with them, got to meet the whole family. It was mom, dad, and 2 kids, a son and a daughter. There was 14 of us on the team, so we all got to introduce ourselves and just let them get to know us a little bit before we started working on the house for them. So we had dinner with them on Sunday, and then
the next day,
Monday,
we woke up at
there
was time difference, so
yeah, it was 6 o'clock there, but it was like 9 o'clock here.
But our day started, we had breakfast, and then we went right to the work site.
We got there at 9 o'clock, and within the first first 30 minutes, we got that first wall put up for the framing. And so just sort of a reference for the size, probably the size of a garage, maybe a little smaller,
Yeah,
a little she shack. And within the first 30-45 minutes, we got that first wall put up. And the cool highlight from that day was just like seeing the reaction from the mom and the dad when they were helping us, the entire team, put the first wall up.
Yeah.
It was just so cool just to see the amount of joy that they had. And throughout the entire week, we painted, we put up drywall.
The first day, we
painted, put
outside
walls,
and then we did the framing, and then the rafters for the roof, and then we called it a day on that. And we eat lunch at the job site, all the things, and then we went back came back the next day. What did we do?
Started doing drywall, and the roof, and then y'all did a little more painting for like some of the some of the outside framing, I guess. And then finished that for the day. We basically did drywall and roofing all day. And then the next day, which was Wednesday, we did a lot of the mudding and then inside paint. And that was good because we just finally got started to get some color on the drywall.
We did trim, which was so pretty. We stained it and it was beautiful. Like it just made the beautiful touch on their home on the inside. Like if I was receiving that home, I would have been emotional in the same way because it was so beautiful. Like just the touches of, like they didn't just like say, okay, here's 4 walls, here's your home. No, they put purpose and like intentionality into this home for this family. That it was more than just 4 walls. I mean, I don't think she even expected for there to be a stain. When she saw those, like, when she saw the trim and everything put up, she like started crying. Like every little thing that she would see happen, like she just would start crying and be emotional. And then day 3.
By the end of day 3, we were basically done with the entire building process of the house. Really, the last thing we had to do was just like finishing touches, and like a little bit of touch from paint, baseboard and stuff like that. And then finally, the last day, the family was not allowed to be near the house at all.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
So we basically walked off with a tarp and everything.
It's kind of like the move that bus, what is that?
Kind of like the big reveal on like CHGTV. Like they have the big reveals the last day.
I forget what it's
where
called.
they're not allowed to be there for the interior decorating and all that. And we got to do all the furnishing, and the kids, they got bunk beds, and then the mom and dad, they got like a double bed. And so we got to do the interior decorating, which is getting them a stove, getting them kind of like a kitchen island or something like that for her to be able to work with food.
Yeah, they the guys put together with scraps, like
scrap
a countertop for them to have.
And then we had them like a small dining room table with benches and chairs.
So pretty.
And really just last finishing touch. We were done by 12 o'clock.
They had ceramic mugs, like ceramic plates. They had placemats.
Food.
We got them and this all comes with the money that is asked for us to bring them.
That's
like
part of it.
It's all part of everything. Everything that you guys helped financially support us in helped us to be able to provide this family with meat and food.
Yeah, because
ceramics.
we did the full.
Their oven. They
full
got an
package.
oven.
We did the full package for those families as much as we could. That's why it was such a high asking price. But when you see the joy that they had when they opened that door for the first time, because we the way that we kind of revealed the house, we all pass around the key to the house and say something, kind of like a statement we want to leave them with. All of us
Encouragement.
The foreman that we worked with, one of the YUGO staff that was with us, and the pastor as well. We all got to have some form of encouragement to tell them. And then actually the family got to say something too when they got handed the key, each person from the family.
Yeah.
But just hearing the mom, as soon as she opened the door first, she had the key. She opened the door, and just hearing, you didn't have to look at her. You could hear just the amount of joy that was coming from her.
The family gets a moment when they get inside the house to spend it together.
Yeah.
And then they this is how all of the houses go. Is the family gets a moment inside. and then if they're willing and they want to, they'll invite you into their home for the first time.
We got invited in.
Yeah, so they invited us into their home,
Yeah.
and we got to enjoy it and pray over them inside their home for the first time.
Yeah.
All 20 of us probably.
Yeah, it was about 20 of us.
Standing in their home and just like praying over them and praying for their family.
Yeah, so
It was cool.
we bought a house in 3.5 days, and we got to pour into them in such a way. None of them, to my knowledge, received salvation in Christ, but we definitely saw a lot of work being done in their hearts. Just
the Lord was preparing them for
their future.
We definitely have confidence in,
I know the Lord's going to work in that.
the Lord is working in that.
So
we have hope knowing that they are being poured into too, like that we didn't just leave them, but they're connected and have been connected to the local church, and so the Lord is at work and He's working those things out, and so it was just really cool. What would you say is something that like the Lord taught you in the week that we were there? Like between us, between everything
well,
going on?
if for those of us, if any of you who are married and you've gone on a mission trip with your spouse, being married and going on a mission trip with your spouse is difficult.
It's not easy.
Especially when you have zero time to work out any
conflict.
Like, none of the stuff that we had, except for maybe one, was like insanely big things, but it was just like stuff that
Spiritual warfare.
that we couldn't just let go by, because we would hold it against each other the entire trip if we hadn't talked about it.
Yeah.
So, and finding that time was hard, but it was definitely a challenging thing, like to, even in spite of being in a environment where, we're in great ministry, we still got to work through our problems.
Yeah, it was definitely like a dream come true to go on a mission trip with my husband. Like, I loved being able to serve alongside of him and to go on, like, it was just a dream, like, of mine, and I loved every minute of it. Like, even though, like, we had our moments of just, like, frustration and where the enemy just tried to win, we definitely had to figure out how to work that out in a different way than we've ever had to. So that was challenging for sure. But I think for me, like, the Lord taught me that where it says in 1 Corinthians that the Lord gives everybody different gifts, and that they're all used to glorify Him, and not one of them is greater than the other. But just seeing and knowing, like, hey, like, God has appointed you with a special set of gifts, and being able to, like I can go out of my way and be very outgoing and, like, talk to people very easy. Him, not so much. That's not his gift. Like, he's not comfortable going out and talking to just random people. But for me, like, I had to realize, like, what my gifts are not his gifts. But that doesn't mean that because I don't do things that he does, doesn't mean that I'm any less, or we all have something to give. We all have something to add to.
Hey, that's my hat.
Fool. She cuts her eyes at us all the time.
But, like, just seeing the joy that they have for what we consider little, because our apartment is probably 3 times the size of
easily
what they have.
Easily. Maybe 4.
Yeah, and I'm less joyful for what I have than what they have. Like, they had so much joy, and it's such a conviction to, like, even when it seems like, I am blessed beyond measure that my rent is $1,000 and I get to live in a place like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get to live in such a safe place with AC and running water and all that stuff. Because even in their new house, they didn't have no AC, no running water, no refrigerator. So just the Lord definitely convicted me of being more joyful for the things that I have.
Just being able to, like, go into Mexico, knowing what we would be doing, and leaving knowing what we got to be a part of, because it wasn't us that, like, made this possible. The Lord orchestrated the whole thing, and knowing that we left knowing we got to be a part of providing a home for a family in need. Like, that was so rich. Like, if you've never heard of YUGO Ministries, y'all should look it up. They welcome families to come. At least 14 people to a team is required, I believe, because that's how many people it takes to. I just got a knot in my eye.
Just got a knot in my eye.
This is raw and just really cool. Just a unique ministry, and they say it. Everybody said it while we were there. You can't leave and not come back.
But
we
they said it from day one.
so desperately want to go back.
Like right now.
Yeah, like I'd stay the whole summer if I could. It was just really cool. So again, we want to thank you and everyone that was willing and supportive of us going, and just a blessing. We got to bless them, but we all know that the Lord teaches us so much when we go, and He did. He grew us in our marriage, He grew us in our own walks, and we also got to be a part of other people. So
But yeah,
we thank y'all.
thank y'all so much for everything y'all did for us.
Yep.
Leading up to and during while we were there.
So for now, this will be it, and hopefully we will be able to have more videos come your way. But definitely check out YUGO Ministries, YUGO, and they're also on Instagram.
Oh my Daisy.
And you might be able to find videos on YouTube too,
Yeah.
about, and
Yep.
just like watching builds, which
They post all their stuff on Instagram every week when they build a house.
yep, so really cool.
But anyway,
Go check it out.
this is us signing off.
Bye. Daisy says bye.
Say bye, Daisy.